Hello everyone. I promised I'd be doing more legendary hardcore content, and of course I intend to deliver. But to say it wasn't easy would be a vast understatement. When I started Season 2, I wanted to ensure that I got a bit further than last season, but it was not an easy task for sure. You want to know why? I would ask you to stick around and find out, but spoilers? I died. There's a thing here. Can I kill too? No! Come on! Oh shit. Nice. Oh, I'm so stupid. I am so stupid. Come on. Okay, not you. Nope, I'm stupid. A lot. It should come as no surprise that the early game of Legendary mode is ruthless, and that was before the new changes to the Further Worthy Seed in 1.4.4. What changes, you might ask? Well, one example is probably the inability to see wiring until Skeletron is defeated, which meant that I had to spend a lot more time scanning the cavern floors, which is fine. I'm used to seeing the pressure plates. But that skill falls short of noticing the slimy predators in the caves, who are ruthless in their hunt, and, you know, non-stop in their search for Terrarians to add to their gelatinous mass. Especially doesn't help that most cavern mobs will either 1 to 2 shot you 100 HP, which goes without saying, but you can't really afford to get hit. Simply evading the enemies thrown at you is a far better option. Seriously, avoid combat. Every opportunity you can. Even the surface green slime can simply 3-shot you, so just avoid tacking. It's really not worth it. But persevering through these challenges got easier with trial and error. A lot of error, might I add. The caverns of Terraria are fickle at times, but honestly it's not the worst it has to offer. First order of business, we need to get our HP up. 200 to 300 is helpful, but of course 400 is going to be the most optimal. It's the max HP after all. We need this as quickly as possible. This is to ensure that we can survive the onslaught of most mobs, and should we mess up in combat, it should hopefully be enough that we can recall to the safety of the surface. If we unfortunately recall at night, it can present to be a deadly challenge, but a simple solution is available. Simply dig straight down, sacrifice the demo man to the horde, and simply wait out the night. Now that we've gotten through the beginning bits, let's take a look at what equipment we might need. Items we want include a bow, better pickaxe of course, lightsbane, and armor. Ignore anything that isn't silver or better when mining. Unless you don't have an anvil, you aren't really going to need much iron, at least for now. We want to get at least 20 defense for the early game. Master Mode makes every point of defense count, so you want to prioritize every point of defense possible for pre-hard mode. You'd be surprised by how high you can pump up this number. Now, you may have heard me mention lightsbane. If you are a Terraria veteran, you might be laughing, but if you aren't aware of the changes for 1.4.4, this weapon got a massive improvement. It can now easily deal with most surface mobs with its additional projectile. It should of course come as no surprise that we're going to want a hook, any double jump, or any boots that we can get our hands on. You're going to need all 3 of these. If you find yourself unsuccessful in the first cave, you can always fish. Which, I mean, I wouldn't recommend right now. You're going to be doing a ton of it later, but, of course, normal caves are going to be the most safe for now. So you've gathered all these items, let's go ahead and take a bit of a risk. Let's head to the Corruption and pop one of the Corruption Orbs. This is going to enable the goblins to spawn. Goblins are a pretty nasty band of enemies, but they do have a pretty simple solution. grab a lava bucket and a mace, and build a box in the sky with the lava under. Once the goblins invade, just sit in your box, swinging your mace for dear life until the entire army is completely decimated, because these goblins lack the 4 brain cells required to pathfind around lava. Once this is done, you can, of course, find the goblin and get the valuable upgrades. Now, one thing I should probably mention about the corruption is that it is a bit deadly. In addition to the normal eaters that will do around 100 damage, there is now a new giant variant that does about 200. So, keep your eyes out for this one. It's time to explore your world. Make note of your closest corruption. You're going to be grinding here, a lot. Snow can be helpful with the mobility upgrades it can provide, but jungle is the place you want to go. Your Lightsbane should deal with the bats and piranhas easily. Do what you can not to get hit. Most mobs will do around 80 to 100 damage, meaning they can one-shot a newer player. But our semi-prepared ones should fare better, but if you're not careful, can meet a pretty sorry end if you don't keep on top of things. We want to go past the jungle for now, but its time will certainly come. We want to find the new mini biome that was added, the Shimmer. This place is very important for almost all stages of the game, and we will be visiting it very often. Unfortunately, this biome can be tricky to get to at times, but after some challenges, I made it there. We are going to want to obtain the Vital Crystal. This is a permanent upgrade that will increase our overall regen, as opposed to well-fed, or some of the other buffs that may increase our regen. This is going to buff all forms of regeneration. It's a very powerful upgrade. Don't miss it. Now, of course, if you don't want to brave the surface jungle, an alternative is, of course, obtaining the conch, which can be obtained in underground desert. Now, you might be calling me crazy for telling you to go here, but thankfully most of the dangers presented by this place have been significantly toned back with the recent updates, so it shouldn't be nearly as hard. Alright, we've powered back up. Let's go ahead and take out the Eye of Cthulhu. We're of course going to want its shield for obvious reasons. Now, in case you didn't know, Further Worthy made every boss more daunting to defeat. This is even much more so in 1.4.4. They added new gimmicks and mechanics to make them just a bit tougher and a bit deadlier. In addition to sporting more HP, damage, and speed like most bosses, the Eye of Cthulhu will now periodically spin during its phase 2, reflecting projectiles and spawning a ton more minions. These minions pose a lot more of a threat than the Eye, as they will do more damage and swarm you very quickly. I found that Jester's arrows can make short work of them, but of course, anything piercing will do. With the Eye killed and the King Slime repelled, oh, I fucking despawned. That sucks. Let's head back to the Shimmer. We can obtain some additional upgrades that I've amassed. Overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. Sometimes it can even be instantaneous, but with each death brought a lesson. Even if my 7 brain cells couldn't discern what that lesson meant, it was for sure a lesson. Well, back through the motions again, I guess. I forgot that 1.4.4 added another brutal change to For the Worthy Worlds. Since horseshoes cannot be obtained via underground anymore, you will have to take to the skies to get them. One small problem. The chests are locked. We're gonna have to kill Skeletron to open them up. Ugh. This boss again. It's almost like we should kill this guy ASAP or something. But for now, let's go back to the caves, gather some loot, and our life crystals. An interesting thing of note for this run is that I got a magic carpet, which enabled me to travel very quickly through the early game. Once we have obtained all we needed, let's head back to the Shimmer biome. this. Let's go, baby. And this time, I got a pretty cool idea. Let's go ahead and build our first settlement here. That's right, in the Shimmer. This presents a number of benefits to us. This is going to reduce the spawn rates here, as well as yield us that sweet, sweet cavern pylon. In addition, hopefully we won't have any mishaps occurring here. Fortune had for sure smiled upon me for this particular run. About 1 hour in, and I had pretty much all I needed to take on the early game. I started with the eye, of course. Then, with the shield in hand, charged into the corruption, and broke 2 of the corruption orbs, yielding an unlucky 2 muskets. I then began prepping for the imminent invasion, utilizing the same cheese as before. But something of note here. You see those lanterns out in the sky? That's an event called a Lantern Night. Lantern Nights will increase your luck, which of course increases your chances of dropping things. With this knowledge on mind, I went to my neighbors and exacted my Second Amendment rights on them. The way the Founding Fathers, of course, intended. The goal is to obtain the best pre-boss armor in the game, the Ancient Shadow armor. To say this armor set is busted would be an understatement. Each piece will increase your critical chance by 5%, and the set bonus makes you move a lot quicker. It is what I wanted. No, I needed. And so I would spend every Lantern Night grinding for it in the hopes that one particularly voracious eater would cough it up. But alas, none did. I did eventually drop a pair of leggings, but I decided that the defense would be better than the 5 crit chance. Oh, and I did drop a lot of hamburgers, but to be honest with you, I don't really want to know what meat is inside those. What came next was a compilation of exploring, reforging, and fishing. So much fishing. I'm pretty sure I spent 12 hours on this character just fishing. I spent a lot of time fishing, yeah. Lots and lots of fish. Can you tell I'm going a little insane? Because I think I am. Anyways, there are several items that I wanted. I needed the boomstick, I needed sky crates, because this is the only way that you can circumvent the whole, well, chest being locked. Fishing gear, because it just makes my jump life easier. And fossil armor, since this was going to be our alternative to the shadow armor. Since my exploits in the corruption were not as fortuitous as I had hoped, I obviously went with the fossil armor. And of course, I'm gonna need an Inferno potion. Now, why am I gonna need an Inferno potion? Because it's the only potion that can really counter the bullet hell that is the Eater of Worlds. Of course, that was gonna have to be the next boss that was par for our course. And so I wanted to make it as safe as possible. I'm gonna need a golden bug net. The only pre-boss net that has the capability of catching bugs in the underworld. Unfortunately, it only took me getting a full angler set and the golden fishing rod to realize that obtaining this item would be a bit harder than I initially thought. So, after about 12 hours of fishing non-stop, I decided that maybe I should try another boss. One that I wasn't sure I could defeat, but decided it might be worth a try. Skeletron. The first couple attempts seemed promising, I just needed to build a much wider arena. But once I had accomplished this and had gathered some buffs, I then began the fight. Alright. And straight away I got down to business. Skeletron is a lot larger and a lot faster. But thanks to my carpet, amphibian boots, and the Sharpron balloon that I had all fished up, I was much faster. The boomstick, paired with some silver bullets that I crafted, worked wonders against the boss. Skeletron grew desperate, summoning minions from the depths of the dungeon and firing his skulls in rapid succession. My health dwindled to below half, but gritting my teeth and vast determination, I held on and recovered. Stay or do I go? Okay, we're back up to full. Thankfully. Stabilized. I've felt a rush like this in a long time. And then, just when victory was within my grasp, disaster struck.
No!
But this is not where the story ends. It is, of course, only the beginning. Even when I had suffered this grievous defeat, I had opened a new avenue of opportunity. And I realized something. I didn't need to defeat the Eater of Worlds. All I needed to do was to defeat Skeletron. Armed with this knowledge, I will return. And next time, I will have my revenge.